Hello and welcome to Top 2. I'm Avi Bernard.
I'm Sean Fletcher.
And I'm Danny Griffin.
Top 2 is a show where we count down our top 2 topics of the week from any area of life, any area of society and culture, whether it's news, sports, politics, or anything else. And then if there's time, we get into a sidebar discussion about whatever else has been on our minds throughout the week. Daniel, how was Cancun?
Hey, man, I got out of there right before the hurricane, man. Thank God.
Ooh-wee.
You know, some folks don't do hurricanes, especially as LA folks. Yeah, get out of there, boss.
Man, we don't even do rain. We don't even do drizzle, let alone a hurricane.
Man, y'all done had it good, y'all whole life. I was in a couple of hurricanes when I lived in Florida, man.
Yeah.
It's the scariest thing ever. Ever. It's scarier than an earthquake.
Oh,
It's
wow.
scarier than an earthquake. Because it's just there's nowhere to go. Like there's nowhere to go at all unless you try to get in your car.
Where are you going to go in case of earthquake?
No, you're not. Because earthquake, I'm not saying that it's better at all. I'm not comparing natural
You
disasters.
just said it was scary than
We
earthquake.
got the president election.
No.
What's the
I'm
lesser of
saying
the two evils?
it's scarier for me. It's scarier for me because I've never been in the big one, like the earthquake. I've been in some scary ones where I was like, okay, there's damage. Believe it or not, the scariest earthquake I've been in, the worst one, was on the East Coast. It wasn't even been when I was out here. It was when I was in DC. It knocked out cell towers. It knocked out a whole bunch of stuff. But those couple of hurricanes, when I was down in Florida, I didn't know what to do at all. And it was his brother. It was his brother. Real quick, man. They evacuate like everything, so everybody's in their homes. So nobody's on the street at all. And I'm down there by myself in Orlando. I'm in grad school. So a couple of cats that I met in school invited me. They was like, you can't be by yourself. You got to be with some people. So I'm jumping on the freeway. And it's this brother. He high as a kite, man. It's just me and him on the freeway. It's a sheet of water on top of the freeway. Like, that's how bad it is. And this is before the hurricane even hit. It's the bands, the weather bands that hit before the eye of the hurricane hits. So we getting hit, flooded, all flash flood and all that type of stuff, man. It's just me and this dude it was like a El Camino or a Deuce and a Quarter or something like that. One of them old cars,
Lord have
man.
mercy, help
One of them old cars. And there was a toll booth plaza like right above the embankment. He speeds past me. And I'm like, oh, brother, you don't realize we on a sheet of water right now driving. I get over the embankment. This dude then plowed into the toll booth plaza. It's just us. Ain't nobody out there. So ain't nobody reported it or nothing like that because they didn't evacuate that too. I pulls up next to the dude, man. It was like, man, you need a ride, brother. You just plowed into this joint. Ain't nobody coming to save you at all. Dude jumps into my whip, man. I drop him off. He high as a kite too. I dropped him off at some apartment complex, and then I drive to my homeboy house. But with nobody on the street, this dude would have just been there, braving the elements. And then when the eye of it hit, man, everything, it's almost like a whole sort of mesh of natural disasters happening at the same time, man. Like earthquakes can happen. All kinds of it's wildest
I'm taking
thing.
hurricane all day over earthquake.
I'm glad I'm telling you, you got to be in one to.
No, I'm gonna tell you
know.
why. Because in hurricane, you have some notice. You have time. Like when I was in Cancun, they were like, "It'll be here Thursday. It'll be here Saturday."
If you want to get caught sitting in the parking lot, if a hurricane hits Southern California. Imagine you sitting on the 405 waiting for everybody to get out of LA. That's how it is.
Oh, it'll be over.
People was sitting on I-95 getting caught in this area because everybody trying to do the same thing. So couldn't nobody get out. And if you want to get deep, like with the socioeconomic part of it, a lot of people couldn't leave. Wouldn't know where to go. Where was they going to go? So they had to hunker down. You got to have money to flee. So they couldn't. And then a lot of people that did flee got stuck on the freeway in a parking lot because everybody who had means was trying to flee up north.
They had notice though. They
did, but where you gonna go?
No, but I'm just saying, if you got 4 or 5 days, similar to Katrina, if you got 5, 6, 7 days, and you're impoverished and you don't have means, like you're saying, like the people that got left behind in Katrina, I get that. But we're talking about Orlando, baby. We're talking about a different level of opulence.
If you have means,
tripping.
It still ain't nowhere for you to go. And honestly, you don't have as much lead time as you think you got. Obviously, it ain't gonna catch you by surprise like an earthquake.
No, earthquake.
But you don't.
Yeah,
you don't have that. You don't have that much means, man. A lot of times, a hurricane forecast is almost like an LA forecaster. It's gonna be wrong half the time. So a lot of people wait up until the first outer bands hit to realize if it's gonna hit you. They do.
Smart.
Because again, man, the risk that you taking. A lot of people, man, they bleed in their bank account on you may not even get hit by it. So it's an interesting dynamic of folks trying to avoid hurt. That's what I said, man. I struggle when people go back and rebuild when they're in the hurricane zone because you're gonna get hit every single hurricane.
Yeah, but where do you live?
About to come up again. It's about to come up again.
Tornado, hurricane, or earthquake country? Name the three. Which one?
In a hurricane, you're gonna get two of those three. Every single time. You're going to get tornadoes in a hurricane. It happens.
No, but I'm saying, what part of the country would you decide to live in? Would you live in the Oklahoma, Texas, the area where tornadoes hit frequently? Would you live in New Orleans? Would you live in the Gulf? Or would you live in sunny California where you may have an earthquake, a serious one, once every maybe 15, 20 years, and it might not even be that bad?
Well, it depends on you pick your poison. Depends on what you want.
Earthquake,
I'm not going to none of them red states that you just mentioned. It depends. but
now you put a little sprinkle.
Yeah, I ain't going to none of them red. I ain't going to Oklahoma.
No, I'm doing blue and earthquake all day.
I ain't doing none of that. But anyway, man, glad you got out safe, man.
Yeah. Sean, what episode is this?
21, man. Big deal.
Episode 21.
21, man. It's a big deal.
So I've read, and this is an obscure fact that's circulating online.
Here we go.
Well, I told you I would bring the fact this week. So 90% of podcasts don't publish more than 3 episodes. All right. So that's 90% right there out the window. Now, of the remaining podcasts, another 90% will quit after 20 episodes. So with us being at episode 21, according to this obscure fact that I'm seeing on Reddit and LinkedIn and other places, to be in the top 1% of podcasts in the world, you only need to publish 21 episodes of your podcast. This being episode 21, I guess that means we are headed for a top 1% podcast. But like again, it's an obscure online fact, but it's not
Reddit
and LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
It's not insignificant though, because
no, it's not.
It is a challenge to start any platform, any show, any level of content with any consistency. So a tribute to
said it. Consistency.
Consistency is the key with almost anything. Yep. Showing up is half the battle. So
amen.
So congratulations
to
both of you.
Brothers. Yeah.
Shout out to both of you guys. And hopefully we can just continue to have fun, have good conversations. So
let's go. 1%ers. We 1%ers.
That's not one. Yeah, a different level, a different type of 1%ers.
Oh, we podcast 1%ers. Maybe we can get. Is there a Michael Rubin party for podcasters? We'll be invited to that.
We got to get Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders on the top 1% of the top 1% of the.
I know.
So what about you, Sean? What's going on? You good?
Yeah, man. I'm chilling, man. Coming off of 4th of July seemed like it was forever ago, but the holiday this week, man. I was torn. The more we get deeper into Juneteenth and that gets cemented as a national federal holiday and all that stuff, man. The sort of interplay between July 4th and Juneteenth is always fascinating to me because now it's like public discourse. So I kept seeing all the Black folks posting on social media, happy 15 days after Juneteenth on July 4th. They were posted that. So a lot of folks, man, was struggling with almost the cancellation of July 4th, replacing it. And then those who were really like posting a lot about July 4th with the red, white, and blue and all that stuff were positioned a little bit differently than in years past in terms of what that signaled So it's just fascinating, man, watching all that play out. I follow like little threads like that.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, man, chilling, still catching up on and binge watching my summer shows and all that. Like we talked about, I'm catching up on The Bear. I still haven't followed. I'm gonna try to. It's on my watch list, but I still gotta watch Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills
Beverly
Cop,
Hills. Oh yeah,
Axel
yeah.
Foley edition. I
Gotta
still
watch
gotta
that.
watch that. Have y'all watched it yet?
I
Have y'all
haven't
seen
watched the
it?
new one, but I've always been a huge fan of the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy
Yeah,
from
yeah.
back in
Danny,
the
have you
day.
seen it? The new one?
Nah, man. I've been seeing posters, but I was like, what is this? Why they keep advertising this? Is it a new one out or something?
It's a new one.
It's a
Yeah,
new one on
they
Beverly
Netflix.
Hills
came up.
Cop.
On
Yeah,
Netflix,
a new
yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop. Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
You know,
on Netflix.
Is it good?
Eddie Murphy. We haven't seen it. Eddie Murphy is reprising all of his old, Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop. He's bringing it all back. So yeah, I can't wait to watch that one though. But speaking of Fourth of July, a man in Dorchester County, South Carolina. This is not one of the top two topics, but just since we're just grazing past the Fourth of July,
Mm-hmm.
a man died in Dorchester County, South Carolina, after placing a lit firework on his head during a Fourth of July party. Now, I am not one to speak ill of the dead, so I won't say what the fuck was he doing, but I will say what the fuck was he doing? I mean, what the hell? I mean,
Fair
why
question.
would you do that? I mean, rest in peace, condolences. I don't understand. I mean,
It was avoidable though, brother.
well,
Good, good brother. It was avoidable.
it was obviously very avoidable. I mean, and his wife said that she thinks he was just trying to show off. I mean, what is that doing? And people tried to tell him to stop.
Putting an explosive on your hair.
It's literally an explosive.
An explosive.
I don't think people should hold fireworks. I don't think people should light fireworks in their street. I mean, people are going to do that on the 4th. I mean, I drove past and people driving like lighting fireworks in the street,
Oh, a lot of it.
and it's just I'm like, is this going to hit my car? I mean, there was a professional hockey player I think a year or two ago that got killed while at a 4th of July party. He wasn't even the one lighting it. He was just nearby, and the thing shot and hit him.
Yeah.
And so
Several years ago, Jason Pierre-Paul
blew his hand off.
Lost several fingers on his
Yeah.
hand.
Is he still playing, by the way?
And continue.
He played. I don't know if he's still in
I
the
think
league,
he's
but
done now, but he won a
played-
Super Bowl after that with
he
Tom
played
Brady.
several
and the
years after
Bucks.
that, yeah.
He played several years after that. But
And he was lighting a firework?
Yeah.
he was holding it, in his hand, and
Right.
apparently it went off prematurely by his account and blew off. He lost. The only way he was really able to still use that hand for football purposes is he didn't lose his thumb, so his opposable digit was still intact, but he lost like 2.5 fingers on that hand.
Crazy, man. It's so crazy.
but we're all old enough to know why this is happening, right? Think about when you were kids and you saw the Safe and Sane. You know how they had the fireworks stands out to raise money for Boys, Girls Club, Boy Scouts, whatever, and it was Safe and Sane depending on what city you lived in LA. And then you moved to a certain area, then the illegals came out. But if you think about it,
When you say illegals, you mean illegal fireworks?
the legal fireworks.
Okay.
Mhm.
I know I got to correct that.
Yeah, it's 2024.
Yeah, you gotta be clear.
2024.
Gotta be clear about these things.
Yeah.
Right.
So I remember in South Central LA, I don't want to say what neighborhood I was in because you might call the gang members out, but I'm just saying everybody, it ain't like everybody on the whole street had illegal fireworks, right? It was like certain types of people, right? And I don't mean that like gangs or you didn't have money or nothing like that, but it was some parents, 2-parent households had illegal fireworks on my street, and the dad had it. He had a job and everything. He wasn't no gangster. He was doing it. So I ain't gonna lie to you. Before that, I stayed away from illegal fireworks because a lot of the gang members had them, right? And a lot of some of our Latino neighbors had them because they would get them from Tijuana. So we, if you didn't have relationships with them, you would go there and you kind of look, but they wasn't going to, let you share like that on it. You really didn't know them like that sometimes. So the gangbangers, you were scared because they would have Roman candles. For the people out there that don't know, Roman candle is an illegal firework, and it kind of shoots a ball of light, like fire at you. they would have Roman candle fights running down the street. So that was kind of scary.
Oh my
and you're not
God.
going to ask the game bangers, hey, cuz or blood, can I borrow fireworks to light off?
Hey,
I mean,
Mr. Cuz or Blood.
Mr. Cuz, Mr. Blood. So you're kind of enamored, you're kind of in awe of these game members shooting these illegals, and they cost money because you're young, you kind of ain't got no money. My mother really didn't have money to buy no illegal fireworks. She was a legal person, and I'm like, wow. So then when this one person on our block, this dad allowed it to happen, and he bought them. Next thing you know, that was the doorway for us to get involved. Now we like firecracker, we throwing full brick, like half a brick.
Yeah.
We lighting them in our hand, throwing them at people. So we was doing some crazy stuff. So I was thinking to myself, and that's why I think today, from what I'm seeing a lot of people who should be in a certain space that's not in that space to be leaders and mentors. You got grown men. It doesn't matter if you have a job or not, or what you're doing with your personal life, education. You have to take on a responsibility and not live reckless, and let's be an example. You got
some of these grown men are the most reckless ones. The dude who killed himself in South Carolina was 41.
But that's what I'm saying. I'll be grown men 35, 45, 50, 60 out there lighting illegal fireworks, and you got little kids watching, middle school kids, high school kids. And I'm thinking, if you be the person in your community to say, nah, man, we're not doing that here. You know what I'm saying? And I know people that got citations. They was giving out citations out here, $2,000. I know one person got a citation and they wasn't even doing it. They said, hey, you live here, which is a whole nother topic, but they just gave them a citation because people were lighting in front of their property, and they just assumed that they knew them. They out here giving out $2,000 fines. So they was going block to block giving out fines the other day. And I guess that's the way to get rid of it. Like, hey, you're going to pay this fine. This going to stop you from lighting them.
Maybe. You know? I hate fireworks. I hate fireworks that are lit in my neighborhood or any neighborhood I'm living in. I mean, really? The most thing I'm concerned about is, man, how's my son going to get to sleep with all these? It sounds like World War III outside. I mean, like, y'all, like, come on, y'all. Like, what? I don't get the extreme infatuation with lighting fireworks. I mean, when I was a kid, I would like to see them like on the street or wherever I was living. I'll maybe even like light some of the more benign ones. But as you get older and you see how dangerous it is, like, what the fuck is the point? I don't understand. Go to a fireworks show. Okay, cool. I mean, but you want to light these explosives in your street with kids around? I just don't. It's just stupid to me. It's stupid.
Yeah, I get it.
And you see people dying every year, every single year. I mean, despite all the stories and all the warnings, people kill themselves with fireworks every fucking year. And to your point, Dan, he said, "What did you say, Sean? Excuse me, Mr. Cuz? Excuse me, Mr. Blood. Can we kind of tap that down, Mr. Blood, Cuz?" So yeah, man,
it ain't happening. I get it. I get why it happened, and I ain't gonna be holier than that. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, brother. We did all of that. We used to light them and run through them. We had Roman candle fights, though. I ain't about to sit here and be holier.
Yeah, and how old were you? How old were you?
Kind of stuff.
How old were you?
We were teenagers. But
exactly. You were kids.
All that stuff.
I get it when kids do it. I mean, I'm not saying it's any less stupid, but kids do stupid shit.
There were a lot of adults around who were enjoying themselves and doing whatever. It was a festive thing. It was, and there was always fires and deaths and dismemberments and all every single year. Like, none of that stuff ever happened, because that was our version of firework safety. Was you need to time it right. That was it wasn't to not do it. It was time it right. Yeah. And it was like, hey, you better make sure you get through there in time, or you don't shoot it at they face type of thing.
Oh my God.
That's like, it was fireworks safe, and it was illegal in our county too. We had to specifically go because my football team, my coach, he ran a fireworks stand. And
my God.
It was in the county, like several counties over, because it was illegal where we lived. We had to go there to get fireworks. So it was all illegal fireworks that we were popping out there. And the police, man, it was almost like switching lanes on the highway without your blinker. The police wasn't enforcing none of that stuff at all. Now, if it got real, real bad, and the problem is that like in the inner cities in St. Louis, cats would get like Macy Day parade level fireworks somewhere. And
Mm-hmm.
that it was like real dangerous type stuff. So they would enforce it there. But and we were so ignorant, like we was popping fireworks like on the second, and then the seventh, and then the eighth. We
Yeah,
was gonna blow up all of them.
they do it all. People do it all week. That's what
All of it. It was
I was about to
ignorant.
say.
It was
I'm
ignorant.
still hearing mortar shells going off last night. I mean,
We was ignorant.
Me too.
like,
Me
come
too.
on, man.
So I ain't
Y'all
gonna,
just
yeah,
stop
yeah, yeah.
that.
I
Stop that
can't.
shit.
I get it, man. There should at a certain point, if we know better, we should do better.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna sit there and act like I ain't partake back in the day.
No, we all did.
Yeah,
Statute of limitations.
like
Yeah. We all did as kids. And as I said, kids
Yeah.
do dumb shit. And as you said, Danny, very accurately, it's up to the adults to put an end to that shit. But they just participate and kill themselves too. So
It's crazy. They do the same thing too, man.
Same ass thing.
But putting something up,
Wild.
putting an explosive on your head is different than your head. There's levels to it too. Like
There are
that's
levels to it, but that's just
can't
that's
do that,
that's
man.
incredible. Hey, everybody, look at me! Look at me! I want to put the like. What the fuck? Okay.
Like at
All
some
right.
point, a risk reward analysis got to take place in your head, man.
What were you going to accomplish?
What were you?
I mean,
If it worked out in your favor, what'd you
Yeah.
win? Like, what'd you
Yeah.
win, brother? Come on, man. And you got a
Just-
family too.
Oh my God.
Jesus, man. Rest in peace. We got to do better.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Just Alan Ray McGrew was his name.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just saw some pictures of him, man. It's sad, man. He had kids and stuff, man. I don't know,
My
man.
goodness.
I don't know.
Oh, you saw pictures of Alan Ray McGrew?
Yeah.
What was his
My goodness.
what was his ethnicity or
Wait, let me see. Y'all may have to
I'm gonna look him up too because you said you saw some pictures of him. Oh,
wait, hold
it looks like. Oh yeah, I think we know.
on.
He wasn't part of the black delegation.
He was not part of the diaspora.
Oh,
Okay.
got
Yeah,
it.
but
Got it.
when you look at him though, you could tell why he did it. I mean, he got on the 4th of July. He looked like Uncle Sam. He had the pinstripe outfit on with the hat. It looks like.
But what is that? I don't give a fuck what you got on, man.
No, but I'm just saying you could just tell that he was a different guy. You know,
He put it on his
very
tie.
patriotic. Just like he's reckless.
Well, I mean, wearing American flag colors don't mean you're patriotic. But let's get on to the topics, fellas. Speaking of patriotism and things that one can do for one's country or what one should do for one's country, obviously very debatable. Still talking about President Joe Biden, the fallout from the absolute disaster of a debate that he had Thursday, June 27th. People have been since then discussing whether or not he should exit the presidential race, which takes place in 4 months. So we talked about this last week, Sean, in your absence, Danny. And so first, let's start with you, Danny. I mean, what are your thoughts, either when you were watching the debate or since the debate, about whether Joe Biden should stay in the race or get out of it?
So this is the thing. In order, if you have kids, family, people that you love, it's not about you. It's about everyone else around you, right? It's about your community. Okay. And if you travel state to state, you want to be safe. So I got to take myself out of it and just think about others, right? So obviously it wasn't a good debate, and nobody's saying it wasn't. I mean, it was. Our commander-in-chief even said it wasn't his best day. But people have bad days, right? But at the same time, we're going against an opponent in former President Trump that clearly has made a lot of mistakes personally and made mistakes in his presidency that make a lot of people unsafe, right? Particularly people that look like me. And that's where I have an issue with. And depending on your tax bracket, a lot of people say, oh, I'm good. I'm going to be better off. Interest rates are going to drop. I got my stocks. I'm playing golf or I'm corporate, whatever it is. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice what we have sacrificed, obviously. But I'd rather be safe than have a lower mortgage payment all day, right? I'd rather be safe than have the ability to see some stocks going up or whatever. So my thing is, I'm like, you got a lot of people saying, step down, do this, do this, do this. So at the end of the day, from a strategic point of view, we want to win the race, right? When I say we, the Democratic Party wants to win the race. And you look at both sides of it, and you got senators, and a lot of people don't want to put their face out there to this, but some senators are putting their face and a name with it because they want bills passed and favors done and things done for their communities and for their constituents. So I understand that. But, my thing is we need to win. So we need to have our best candidate go against former President Trump come November, right? So we know our vice president, who's done an admirable job, Ms. Kamala Harris. So she's ready. She's waiting in the wings. But we have to ask ourselves, is our current commander-in-chief, can he beat former President Trump in this coming election, right? And if he cannot, do we have a formidable candidate who can win? And if we do drop out or steps down 2 months from now, the timing is not as good as now, right? We all know that. Everybody knows that. Because we need time for campaigning. We need time to get the word out, time, strategies, different things. So the closer we get to the election, it's not good if current President Biden is going to step down. My thing is, me personally, I think he's the best candidate that we have going forward because he's
Joe
been
Biden
there,
is?
done that. Yes, he's been there, done that, right? Currently, where we stand now, now going forward, I'm not a doctor. I'm not God. I don't know where he's going to be cognitively, physically. I don't know. That's the chance that we take with anybody, regardless of age. A lot of people lose it, man. So I'm just telling you, electing President Trump is not going to guarantee 4 years, him having the right mind, him being well physically.
Trump ain't got a right mind now.
Well, yeah, that part. But what I'm saying is a lot of people don't feel comfortable from what they saw moving forward. Right. And I have some concerns as well. And we all do. Right. We have older people in our family. We have people that go through things. And it's a time when you give up your driver's license and everything. And you start. So we're approaching something. We just don't know what. But my thing is we need to win. So who can win against former President Trump? Who can win? Is it Vice President Kamala Harris? Is it Governor Gavin Newsom? Who do we have that can win, right? And also, we know President Biden can win this race, but it's not about winning the race.
I don't know if we do know that.
We hope he can, right? We hope he can, but this is the bigger question.
Well, that's the main concern.
Can he finish?
Whether he can win the race is the concern because
and finishing, right? I think it's a double whammy. I think.
Well, finishing. You mean finishing the second term?
Oh yeah.
Well, sure, of course. But I mean, right now, the job is to win the election, and we ain't
guaranteed that.
We ain't got no concern about him finishing the term if he loses to the election.
Yeah, because. So what you're saying is, and I agree, we could lose the election, and then it's a good chance we may not be able to finish his term. So that's why people are panicking and like, wait a minute, we might lose, and then if we do happen to win. Can he finish 4 years? And a lot of people are saying we don't think so.
Well, I mean,
more so on a 4-year term than actually winning the election.
Well, him winning the election, the odds are getting slimmer and slimmer.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he was already down in most polls, including most swing state polls, which are the most important ones. National polls don't really mean shit in a presidential election because we have the stupid ass electoral college. And so a few swing states decide the election every single cycle. So do we have a person in Joe Biden who can beat Donald Trump? I mean, he's down in most of the polls before the debate. Since the debate, most polls have shown that gap widening, including being down by 6 in a couple of different polls to likely
but don't
voters.
We got to wait till tomorrow, Avi, because of the interview with George?
That was Friday. That interview took place as we record Sunday. That interview took place Friday. And
but don't we see the results? The results should be in to kind of see.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think people are going to watch that interview as much as they watch the debate. I mean, it's a lot of people we're looking forward to that. But I just, in watching that interview myself,
it was better. It was better.
It was much better. A lot of people
said it was scripted.
Well, it was much better. It was much better than his debate performance, but it wasn't like a master class. It wasn't excellent. I mean, he was coherent. He didn't have his mouth open or have a vacant look throughout the interview. Oh. So, I mean, I think but that's not. It was such a low bar that just saying, oh, it was better than the debate isn't good enough. And I think a lot of people weren't really moved by it, myself included. And I think in the fact that it took him 8 days after that disastrous debate performance to come out and have a live interview with the person and not be on a teleprompter, that's concerning too. And if it was just a one bad night, or he was tired, and Sean and I talked about this last week, maybe it was just because it was late at night, and that's how 80-year-olds, that's what happens to them late at night. If that's the case, then why did it take you 8 days? We don't have time for that shit. You have to reassure people that you can do this. And so it took him 8 days to come back and do that interview. I mean, he did events between them, but they were all on the teleprompter. And so I don't know what the best course of action is, but I just feel like this can't be about Joe Biden, the person. It's not about him. It's about, as you said, Danny, it's about beating Donald Trump. And Democrats are not in the Joe Biden business. They're in the democracy business. And with that being the case, you have to put the good of the country and our chances of beating Donald Trump above any one man's ego. And everybody wants to be the guy. Joe wants to be the guy, and he's been the guy now. He's been the president. He's been in the seat of power. He ran for president 3 or 4 times before getting elected in 2020. And so he's wanted to be the guy for most of his career, and now he's the guy. And that's hard to walk away from. And I think that's the main issue here. Once people
Is it too much at stake, Avi? Is it too much at stake for him going forward with a chance of losing? Is it too much at stake? That's what we got to ask ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we have to ask ourselves. And the answer clearly is there is too much at stake. And so is he the right person? And right now, it feels to me like he's probably not. And if he is, it is the nominee in the long run, when the convention does come around. If he is still the nominee, obviously, I'm voting for him, and I'm writing letters and I'm doing everything I can to help him win. But I'm just saying, I just don't know that he is the best person to do that. And I feel like with him being down this whole time, this whole election, his approval rating being in the 30s, no president's ever been reelected, no incumbent's ever been reelected when having an approval rating in that space. And so I don't know, man. It just feels to me like the writing is on the wall, and maybe it's time. I mean, for him to say, listen, man, I had a great first term. I mean, let's let someone else beat Donald Trump. But let's get you in here, Sean.
I said most of what I was thinking last week, but I'll reiterate.
Have you changed? Has anything changed for you in the week since we had this discussion last? No. Since he didn't really come out barnstorming. He had that one event on the day following, and then several days of silence. Then he had another event in Wisconsin the same day. He had the George Stephanopoulos interview.
No,
nothing changed at all.
No, nothing has changed for me for all the reasons that I mentioned last week. Your viability is only as good based upon your alternative options. And Kamala Harris is not winning Democrats the White House. Gavin Newsom has already said, no, I'm not an option. So if he were to double back over, what message does that send?
Well, he had to say that, though.
I know. But as I mentioned last week, who do you stand to lose if you skip over Kamala Harris for another white man? You stand to lose both women and the black vote, potentially. So pick your poison when it comes to political positioning and strategy within all of that. We don't know. And again, as I mentioned before, however we feel about the Electoral College may come and save the day in this unprecedented situation, this unprecedented election cycle period. It ain't just Biden that's unprecedented. Yeah, no incumbent has won with their approval in the 30s and all that stuff, but we also have not had we got a series of firsts with his opponent as well. So it's still going to come down. While we're having a 50-state dialogue right now, it ain't a 50-state election. It's going to come down to the series of few swing states. Mm-hmm. And I still believe that between where we stand now, early July, all the way up until November, when the Simone Sanders, I forget her full name, Townsend, I think is her.
Townsend, yeah.
Townsend now. But she mentioned something earlier today. And I concur in terms of if Democrats have decided, and to a person, whether they agree or not, outside of the Julian Castros of the world who served in the Obama administration, who I think is still a little bitter that he wasn't asked to be part of the Biden administration, but he's still critical, even several days out of that debate. At some point, you got to fall in line, as we're seeing Republicans do, regardless of what we believe their impetus is for falling in line. They fall in line.
They have no shame.
They have no shame. But strategically speaking, if at this point you're saying Biden is our strategic horse we're riding, is as shaky as that horse may be, at some point the conversation needs to pivot, like it did with Gavin Newsom.
At what point is that? At what point is that, though?
It's now. It was a week ago.
So we shouldn't have this conversation? We shouldn't have this conversation?
Who's it helping? Let me ask you that.
I think
is it helping Biden? If Biden is going to be your horse that you're riding,
well, he may not be the horse, and that's we have to have the discussion whether or not he should be the horse.
No, but it's coming out from the base that he is the horse.
No, but it's the base isn't the only important thing. I mean, you're hearing from you have I think 70-something% of the entire electorate, when you consider Republicans, independents, and Democrats, think that he's too old. That's a large percentage of Democrats as well, who think he is too old to do the job. And so it's not just about what Democrats think. We have to listen to what people want.
And again, that sounds nice, Avi, but from my vantage point, that's why I stand by what I said the last time we recorded. Who is going to win you the election? And that is the conversation.
So you still think Biden's going to win?
We could sit and move around. There's levels to it. Whether I think Democrats are going to win versus who I think gives them the best option to win, I'm still on who gives them the best option to win. Who's going to win the White House is a different conversation.
Well, last week,
hold on, let me finish. Who is going to give Democrats the best option to win? It ain't Kamala Harris, in my opinion.
I don't think so.
It's not Gavin Newsom, even if he stood up today and said, I changed my mind. I want to be at the top of the ticket. It's not him. So you got to dust off Joe and rally around him and try to push this thing towards November. Now, if that's going to get you across the goal line to beat the opposition, I don't know. I still seem to believe, and I stand to believe that it will be enough to. Everything is unprecedented right now. So going off of polls and history and all that stuff, well, you can't bet on any of that because nothing is precedented. And when I say you, I ain't talking about you, Avi. I'm talking about in general. There is nothing to hinge your hopes onto based off of history. So I tend to hinge my hopes off of when it comes down to these handful of swing states that the elections is always determined by, and it's going to be determined this election cycle too, that these folks are going to go in and they're going to juxtapose these two candidates, and they're going to say, like Danny did, I would much rather the old guy than the dictator who has told me he's going to be that when he gets into office. I don't have anything else to hang my hopes and aspirations onto like anybody else, because it's such an unprecedented cycle that we're in. But I still tell anybody who is nitpicking and going off, and they're valid reasons to question Joe. I say, if I agree to take him off the ticket, who are you going to replace him with? And nobody's coming up with a name that's viable right now. So now we got to roll with who we got, or else what are we doing? We're going in circles and we're cutting down potentially the candidate we are going to end up riding with, begrudgingly or otherwise.
But that's a plan, Sean. That's a plan, Sean. The Democrats are imploding. That's a plan. You got Democrats, senators that are putting their names out there, signing on, publicly saying, I just listened to it on CNN the other day, that VP Kamala Harris is the best choice. They're saying that.
You've had House representatives saying, but not senators yet.
Yeah.
But
House representatives, Senate, everyday people don't know the different layers.
And what is you? I'm gonna ask you two point blank, and you don't have to get yourself in no hot water with nobody. You think Kamala Harris wins the election?
I think she has a better chance than Joe Biden at this point. And so, but I would say to you, Sean, last week you seemed more confident that Joe was going to win. Last week you said you think he's going to win. This week you say you don't know, and so it tells me that even you during this past week have grown less confident in Joe Biden's prospects of winning the election.
The only reason why if the scales have tipped any since the last time we talked, Avi, is that we are just like Simone said. Why are people still having a day after election dialogue? Make a choice. And that's the problem I have, is that make a choice and get on the same page. If it's Kamala, let's rally and get a strategy. If it's Gavin Newsom, get a strategy. But when you are continuing to give a shaky message, you are going to potentially ostracize those who are riding with you, who are loyal to the Democratic approach to things. There is strength in a unified front. And that is whether you hate Republicans or you are a Republican yourself, as misguided as their sycophants cult-like following is of Donald Trump, these dudes fall in line. And at some point, Democrats, we can have a Democratic narrative, but that's got to stop at some point. And my point is that, yes, it's a fair conversation for us, the three of us and the electorate to have, and the citizenry, but we ain't the ones running the Democratic Party.
But the electorate's having the conversation.
And we're going to sit, and again, Joe has come out, Kamala has come out, Gavin Newsom has come out. All the people that the names are being thrown around as to who should be at the top of the ticket are all saying it's Joe.
So they're playing politics. You can't. No presidential candidate comes out and says they're running for president until they are running for president. And so, especially in a case like this, you can't be the one, if you're Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer, to say, yeah, I'm throwing my hat in the ring when Joe is already the nominee. It has to be Joe first saying he's getting out, and then you will see. I guarantee, if Joe were to step aside, you would see Gavin Newsom be that person, one of those people vying for that seat. So I'm saying though, but he can't be the one to put that knife in. And so I hear what you're going to be. Exactly. So I hear what you're saying about Democrats needing to rally behind our eventual choice, but the reality is that the electorate is right now, and has been since way before that debate, and it's intensified since, having the discussion about whether they want Joe Biden to be that guy. And that's not just Democrats. That's independent voters who maybe voted for him last time. We're like, well, listen, man, I mean, that was last time. This is different. And every time he gets asked the question, he's like, well, look at the last 3.5 years. You can't do that in any job, saying, well, yeah, I was good 3 years ago, so now or I was good last year, so I'm gonna be good this year. What athlete is going to say that? And even and David Axelrod made this point today, or as Sunday as we record. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl 3 years. Now he's out of the league. Three years ago, but now he's out of the league because Father Time gets everybody. And Joe Biden, being in his 80s, I mean, clearly he's not the same person he was 4 years ago, right? We can all acknowledge that. And so, whether he can do the job or not may be inconsequential if enough people don't think he can, or if that perception is always there and people are always worried about that.
But Avi, you don't believe that we're living that the conversation is very idealistic to assume that if you replace him at the top of the ticket, that person, whether it's Kamala or Gavin Newsom, are just going to build from there? They're going to have to start and run on their own record. And Kamala ain't going to start. Biden wasn't even given the grace to inherit the benefits of what Obama did for the country. You think they're going to let a black woman run on the merits of Biden?
Biden didn't run in 2016.
No. I'm saying when he ran in 2020, people disaggregated the successes of the Obama administration from Joe.
I don't think everybody did. I think a lot of people did give him credit for being part of that.
Many people did, though. And even less so are you going to get Kamala Harris being able to run in a truncated campaign at that. Again, I'm not saying that overwhelmingly Joe is the guy and I put 100% of my confidence behind him. He's going to win the White. Not at all. That's not at all what I'm saying. Hopefully it ain't coming across that way. But I'm saying your candidate is only as good as your other options. And I don't see Kamala nor Gavin Newsom running and jumping on the top of this ticket and propelling the Democrats to the White House and giving me that much more confidence to say it's a done deal, because I think they're going to reset the deck and Gavin going to get torn down and Kamala going to get torn down. And those people who are shaky about Joe for the reasons in terms of aptitude are going to now potentially jump a few rungs lower on the people that are going to replace him. And now we got to try to build them back up to even status quo. I think be careful what you wish for is
Newsom
what I
not
say.
even Newsom is ducking and dodging. He's gearing up for 2028. And
I'm saying if he did,
well, that would be his ideal time to run. But
he's ducking and dodging. The Republicans, political strategists, everybody's already eyeing Harris. And I just got through reading the article from the New York Times today. It's like, the Trump strategists and the Republican critics are saying it's going to be more racism, more sexism if Kamala Harris wins. So
did you see the New York Post headline? Did y'all see the New York Post?
No, I haven't seen that.
The New York Post headline said that America is bracing for potentially the first DEI presidential candidate. Kamala.
New York Post is a right-wing publication.
It was
no question, but it's still in-house propaganda that people read. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, because the political thing. Obviously, I'm more inclined now since doing more radio shows and podcasts and stuff of that nature. But I still had an inclination of politics. I just wasn't as well versed as I should have been. Poli-sci wasn't my thing. I'm not trying to be a lawyer. And, but at the same time, I've dived into this stuff. And from what I've been watching it and what I'm understanding is that Vice President Harris will America truly embrace her, or is she considered just second fiddle? For her to do her job effectively and to be the commander in chief, people have to embrace her completely. Like, not just because your current candidate is too old or he's incompetent physically, mentally. No. She has to be embraced in order to be effective and people to listen, because we already divided anyway. And now if they're coming up with this propaganda and all this different racist, sexist stuff, they're basically saying they won't, which is scary for me. I'm kind of with Sean on this. It's scary because Republicans and the Trump campaign and people that don't want to see President Biden get reelected want him to run. That's scary for me. I'm thinking like, wow, they think they got it, huh? Because if she runs, they're attacking her right now. They're not attacking Newsom. You can Google Newsom. Newsom don't even come up like that. He's not even an option. Claiborne, he just endorsed Harris too. He said if President Biden was
he said if. Yeah, he said
if he steps down, he clearly is endorsing Harris, and there's no other option other.
But you expected that.
No, I do. No, but he's like the Godfather. He's like,
you expected that.
What's the little thing that come out and you say if it's winter or fall, whatever? What's the little thing? The groundhog. He's considered like the groundhog of politics.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah. And Claiborne said something. We all rolling with it, baby. He says Newsom. He ain't even thinking about him. And he said, I support Harris, but I won't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, man, and this is you said, John, you can't gauge anything about this based on history, and I'm not. I'm just talking about what people are saying right now, what they've been saying throughout this whole past year or two. And so when there was even still speculation whether Biden would seek a second term. And we can talk about it. And I'm just saying we got to have the conversation, because you can't just have that debate performance and then say, you know what, y'all, forget about it. Let's move on.
But Avi, strategically, at what point does this conversation reach diminishing returns?
Once we get to the convention and he's the nominee.
The convention?
Oh,
you gotta wait till the convention.
No, we have.
Ideally, we'll have it settled before then.
When is the convention again?
It's in about a month.
It's in about a month, right? It's in August.
That might be too late.
Well, ideally, we'll have it settled before then. But I'm saying once we have a nominee, obviously we coalesce around that nominee. And people forget, man, Trump, that Access Hollywood tape came out in October of 2016 when the election was about to happen, and that motherfucker still won.
Fall in line.
And there was conversations initially about Republicans say, "Oh, we can't support this dude." Almost every mainstream Republican came out and said, "No, we don't support this dude anymore." And he decided not to back down, not because it was up to him at that point because he was already the nominee, and they couldn't remove him, and so they eventually rode with him. And so if he is the nominee, and if what you say is true, Sean, about people caring about not having
a tyrant,
the tyrant in office. But I'm just saying, look, listen, latest Pennsylvania poll from Morning Consult, Trump is up 7 in Pennsylvania. We lose Pennsylvania, it's a wrap.
And again, man, he thought he was going to win. He thought he was going to win Pennsylvania in 2020. He thought he was going to win.
He wasn't up by 7 in the polls in 2020.
And everything, you got to throw out even the recent
I'm not an analytics guy.
Even the recent past, you got to throw that out. And it's July. So much can still happen.
Can.
But
what has been happening this whole time? Biden's been down the whole time.
Yes. And I still believe every day matters. And the longer that we're talking about potentially hemorrhaging at the top of the ticket and taking him off, you are further putting in harm's way the viability of him as a candidate once you inevitably run with him. And I believe that is going to happen. And again, consider your alternatives. That is the approach that I'm taking on this. I'm not going head first with Joe Biden. I'm considering the alternatives at this late in the game. We're about a month out from the Democratic National Convention. The conversation, we already know who his opponent's going to be. We don't need the Republican National Convention for that. We know. So now at some point, rally around and say, we're going to clean up this dude. I don't care if it's weekend at Bernie's. We are going to get this dude to the election because who is the alternative? I don't think you and I disagree, Avi, that Kamala could win the White House. I just don't. I think that assumes that she's not going to lose ground with the electorate.
I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm just saying I'm talking about possibilities.
But you think she gives a better
I think at this point she does. However, I mean, obviously there is misogynoir. There is racism and sexism.
Yes.
And that's going to play a key role. And so I don't know if she would be the best choice. I tend to think one of this, because listen, and I've said this before. I don't remember if I said it on the show last week, but if you have 3 swing states that you need to win, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. If the Democrats win those 3 states, they will win the election. And so you have 2 very popular governors. You have 3 popular Democratic governors in each of those states, 2 of whom were just reelected in 2022, in Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan and Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. And he was actually he was elected, not reelected. But they both won handily. I think they both won by double digits. And in Gretchen Whitmer's case, her election was the first time where Democrats now had the state house and Senate and governorship in Michigan in a very long time, decades, I think. So I think if you run someone like Gretchen Whitmer, she wins Michigan. Done deal. I think she probably wins Pennsylvania and Wisconsin too.
Pennsylvania, I don't know. Wisconsin,
we only got Michigan in the bag, man. I'm not rocking with Wisconsin like that. Wisconsin is iffy. That's the one that
we don't have Michigan in the bag right now. I'm talking about if Gretchen Whitmer were to run.
I think Michigan is more in the bag than Wisconsin.
Well, none of them are in the bag. We ain't got none of them in the bag.
I don't think I'm a go there. I don't think she's the strongest candidate. Just in isolation. I don't think she's
the strongest candidate. I just mean just for those 3 states is all I'm talking about, because those are the 3 states.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Those 3 states. That's what I said about Joe. I think that the Electoral College goes save him, regardless of what people think about the Electoral College, and me included. I think it's antiquated, but I still don't think when them people just similar to what they did to Hillary. I think one of them isms are going to supersede better judgment. And that's what I hate to say it, but I believe it to my core that there are isms in this country that are a stronger presence than your better judgment.
So and what you're saying is America's not ready to have
a woman or a black woman.
No. Let's go women. Take race out of it. A woman.
They
ain't ready. So in my opinion, America is not ready for a woman, and it has nothing to do. I love VP Harris, Vice President Harris. I just absolutely love her. I love her transparency. I love how comfortable she is. She's not afraid to show her her blackness. She's out with she's an AKA, correct? Right?
Yeah,
am I right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So she's out there. She's great, man. And I think a lot of people resonate with her, working class people, those people in the Midwest, up in the area, Pennsylvania, Ohio. I think she's good. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you look at where we are right now, she might be the best candidate, but I think we're going to get better with President Biden. We just have to put it like this. You got to hide him like a two guard on a break. Hide him like they do it. You got to hide him. Take him off the ball, baby. You can't have him prime time going against somebody word for word. You got to watch your time, look at your clock. And I said this before when we talked about a couple of other issues. I said this before. I don't know which one was about that holiday with the dude and whatever them dudes. I said Democrats have to be more strategic. And this hidden is Rooster's coming to roost. You got to be more strategic. You can't have this man up all night. Think of your grave. Think of Big Mama. Black folk know how we treat some of our elders. You can't have this man up all night going against this gangster. They're trying to expose this man. And if the sister, if Vice President Harris, if she takes the reign, they're gonna come out with the woodwork. They're gonna talk about. It ain't just about racism and sexism. They're gonna come up with, is she qualified? Take race out of it, take woman out of it. They're gonna talk about, is she qualified? They're gonna come at her. They're gonna come at her harder than President Biden. The only thing they got on him is that debate, is age. And that's why that's why I'm kind of rocking with President Biden right now. I think he's our best candidate right now. If he does another debate, Lord hope he don't. If he does anything else where he can get exposed, we got to hide him. We need teleprompters. We need some.
Do the debate at 7 a.m. after he done had his tea.
Yeah, he's our best candidate because listen, and I'm not knocking her. He knows what he's doing.
He is a white man. He is a white man in this country, and at the end of it all, there are some tiebreakers in this country. Still, I wish we were in a post-racial, post-sexist. I wish we were.
Yeah, but he's an old white man. People are also ageist.
But they are
bad on the age.
But they're less ageist than they are racist and sexist.
This is true.
There's levels.
But you got another white man that he's going against.
True. You are. But again, and it's such an unprecedented. Nothing can you set your watch to with this. This man is a 34th count felon, and we didn't think that was a possibility.
And the Supreme Court just gave this motherfucker immunity.
The court just gave him immunity.
Okay, bottom line, do we win regardless of who's on the ticket? That's all. I don't know.
No, you can't.
My opinion is, if we win, it's too close for comfort, and you waking up the next day not knowing. That's the problem for me.
Hey, let me throw this in there. Do you think that if somebody was to swoop in at the top of the ticket, what if Hillary? What if they came out and said, "I think
it's not going to be Hillary"?
No. I'm not saying. Again, this is a fanciful even thought. But I'm saying, just as a mental exercise, that we're getting a lot of "I told you so's," not just from Hillary, which she is already doing herself, saying "I told you so" from 2016, but we're getting a lot of people who are doubling back, saying Hillary told us so that this was going to happen. And you do know that a lot of times women get passed over until you double back and realize that they were the best option, but it's too late. What if? Do you think Hillary would be a more viable candidate than Kamala?
Now, I mean, if she hadn't lost that last election, yeah, I don't think there's any way that they would take that risk again and put her back in there. But I think people might have a little bit of wistfulness in giving what we've gone through, and those people who would just assumed she would win, who sat out, or those people who were still sour that Bernie didn't get the Democratic nomination and sat out. They may say, "All right, listen, we fucked that up. Let's go back to Hillary this time." But I don't think that it's definitely not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I don't
think it would
meander in my thoughts.
But yeah, man, I think
Hillary would beat Trump if she ran against Trump
this time.
I think so.
Listen, man.
What's up is down. What's left is right. We don't know. That's why I threw it out there. Like, could America double back and say you were right in 2016?
We've gotten to the point where we're asking if Hillary could get thrown into the race. So I think it's time to go to the next topic.
We're all reaching.
One of the greatest reaches I read last night was could Obama be the VP and boost Biden's? And if Biden were to if they were to invoke the 25th Amendment during Biden's administration, we'd have Obama back. And I'm gonna be honest, this did not come from a random. This came from a significant, and I'm not gonna even name names because it's that outlandish in my opinion. But it came from a pretty significant person in the annals of Black history. It did. This is a pretty significant person. So
I will say that
y'all can Google him.
I will say that if Trump were to win this election and then try to get a third term, then I would say Obama should jump back in. So, you gonna run for a third term? Well, and so am I. But that's what I would say about that. All right, but let's go on to our second topic. Boxer Ryan Garcia. He is currently one of the best boxers in the world. He's been having a lot of episodes lately. He was, I think, it was either arrested or charged or he for basically destroying a hotel room and causing damage to a hotel room. And now he was found to having been cheated in his last fight, the results of which got overturned because he was found to have been on performance enhancing drugs. And now he has come out and on Twitter, X, and this is, as I said, one of the best fighters in the world. He's 24 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss in 26 fights. And so he's been open about his struggles with addiction and mental illness, but none of that obviously ever excuses the type of language and racism that you are about to hear. And so I'm going to pull it up for you now.
Let me go in on these niggas.
What's up?
Hey niggers. Okay. Now what? I'm not
Fuck that other nigga though.
Fuck no, really. Fuck that nigga.
I smoke that other nigga. No cap. Say something else. I'm gonna come wave you at a smack shelter.
Bro, fuck you and fuck Muslims that fucking rape little kids. Bro, fuck all you motherfuckers, bro. You guys are weird as fuck. Fuck all you Muslim ass fucking weird ass fuckers.
You're gonna regret saying all of this when you
Guess what? Guess what? I will never be touched because I'm with God. I'm with Jesus.
Oh my God, you're an idiot, Ryan.
Nico regrets what he says and think Ryan gonna regret what he said.
I won't. I'm not regretting it. I swear to God, I'm not. I've never been touched in my life.
All right, so that's Ryan Garcia on a Twitter Spaces. You can hear other people in there interjecting thoughts as well during, because Twitter Spaces is a kind of an open platform, open forum discussion type situation on Twitter, and so he's saying fuck N-words with the hard R. He's saying fuck Muslims and calling them pedophiles, and he was expelled from the WBC for these comments. And at first he did not apologize. I'm gonna find, let's see, what did he say? He said the first thing he did was post a statement, and he said, quote, "Let me get this straight. I've actually supported Black communities, have taken racism from Tim Bradley calling me a zoo animal on ESPN and turned the other cheek. But I'm racist because everyone was just drunk and saying shit people say all the time, including Black men. If you get triggered by a word, that means you are too sensitive. God knows my heart and how I would protect Black children till the day I die. I was speaking against Black on Black crime. They took everything out of context, including the Muslim part. I spoke against pedophile activity in every religious," his spelling is off, that's why I'm trying to read this, "in every religion, and how I don't stand for that." So that was his statement after that was his initial statement after the incredibly racist rant that we just played a second ago. And then he issued this quote unquote apology that I'm about to play for you now. It's serious, but that's weird. Let me just pull this up, and it's really a shit apology, but you'll hear for yourselves. Let's
I want to apologize to the Black community. Apologize to the Muslim community. Basically, for my language and my vocabulary. Obviously, I have a big responsibility as a famous athlete, and I was very under the influence, and obviously through a lot is what I say, but I have no excuse. I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry to all my black friends and families that are hurt, and my Muslim families that are hurt, and everybody that's, affected by my words. I didn't mean no disrespect, and I feel really bad. I just, I hit the switch, and it wasn't good, and some of my homies were hyping me up, telling me, like, say that word, bro, you got the pass, woody woo, and, kind of just influencing me to, like, speak on black on black crime and what's going on in the community, and they kind of I won't say I ain't gonna make no excuse. I'm not gonna say they forced it. I ain't gonna say none of that. I'm just saying, like, they were pushing it too, and I'm not even trying to cap, like, I'm not trying to even, like, be no weird shit. Like, I'm sorry, basically. But everybody knows I'm going through a hard time, and that's no excuse, and that's why I'm going to rehab and getting my shit, handled. And I'm going through a lot, a divorce, things happening to me all the time, matrix attacks all the time, and you guys may not believe it, but it's so fucking annoying that you got no fucking clue. Like, I wake up and I'm already, like, under some shit, and it's just like, bro, I'm over it, bro. I do stand on saying that, though. I don't like pedophiles, though. That I'm like, nobody's gonna change my mind. You're not gonna about to press me to.
Okay, so starts off with the apologies saying sorry to my black friends and the black community and the Muslim community, and then quickly goes into, I'm not making excuses, but my homeboys were hyping me up and telling me to say certain words because I have the pass. I have a pass on that. So mental illness is a serious issue. Obviously, we don't know exactly what mental issues he has. We just know that he has some, and he claims that he was under the influence. But listen, man, I don't give a fuck what you were drinking or taking. If you ain't having racist thoughts, you ain't saying racist shit when you're drunk. So this is like when Roseanne, would she say that when she was saying racist shit that was because she took an Ambien? I mean, people always come up with the dumbest shit to make excuses for their racism. And the whole "you people know my heart" thing, fuck you. No, I don't. No one knows your heart other than what you say and do. And you can't say fuck niggers and say, oh, but you know my heart though. No, it doesn't work like that. So I don't know what and this is not something we have to talk about super long, but this is something that happened this past week that I just wanted to talk about because he is one of the biggest names in the sport of boxing. And I just think it's really sad, obviously, for black people and for Muslims to experience this type of hate from someone of his stature. And no one's given him a pass. His family came out and said, we don't stand by what he said. He's having mental health issues. And it's, but something needs to be done, man. I mean, if you're in his life and you know what issue it is, whether it's bipolar or whatever, then you got to see to it that he takes his medication. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not, I don't know what the fuck the deal is, but clearly dude has lost it and he needs help from somebody. But I'll let y'all jump in.
Danny, jump in here.
Well, I don't really know this dude like that. I'm not a boxing guy. I kind of stopped a while ago, man. I'm old school. I'm Hearns, Hagler, man. I'm an old goat. So I know about the new boys a little bit, but I'm not one of those guys that's going to rush home and spend $90 on pay-per-view. So I don't really know.
And I've never watched one of his fights because I don't care about him either. And boxing is not the same, but that doesn't change the fact that, it's some serious shit that he said.
No, but I did a little research on him. And I mean, he has a lot of influence,
Oh, and by the way, sorry to cut you off, Danny. I forgot to mention this. It will surprise exactly nobody that he is a Trump supporter. Go ahead.
Huh. Yeah, but they don't want him.
He was at Mar-a-Lago, I think it was, with Trump. So
they do
want him. Trump will take every endorsement from every racist.
They'll take anybody, but they don't really want him like that. Those people.
They do.
A lot of minorities think they're white. They assimilate because of their tax bracket. And at the end of the day, what they're gonna call you. Stop it. But I will say this: he has influence. But to my Latino brothers and sisters out there, just because you speak Spanish, you don't all think alike. And when you travel around the world and the country, that at the end of the day, it's about how you treat the individuals. And one person that speaks Spanish, or you from this country, I don't know, is he from Mexico? Where's he from?
I'm not sure what country he's from.
So, but I'm just saying that, people will denounce you in a minute. Everybody don't stand for that. You can't just say, oh, he's from here, he's from there. Everybody, obviously, just doing research on this dude and looking at some videos prior and looking at his history, he's unstable. This is one of those homeboy conversations that they put him in, and they got him. Like they would say back in the city in New York, they gassed him up. I'm not the one to say, hey, he's really racist or whatever. I don't. People say when you drink alcohol, you tell the truth, or drugs. I don't know about none of that stuff. I never had a sip or never used drugs in my life, but I hear certain things, and I'm not saying this is a pass for this guy. I'm just saying with this guy's history, from what I've seen and the things that he's been through and the things that he currently does, that I ain't even get that. He's a moron. So he's an idiot. He's not even coherent, man. He needs help. It's kind of like, when people get to a certain place and you don't really respect what they say, the only reason we're paying attention to him is because of his influence and his social status and his cachet, and he's a pro athlete at a high level. But people talk like this every day, man, unfortunately, man. And I don't want to desensitize what he said, and I don't want to be comfortable with it and have African-American people mad at me or anybody else. But at the end of the day, we know what we're dealing with, man. Drugs in our society, unprecedented, alcoholism, just addiction. He has some problems, man, and mental illness is growing in a lot of areas. He has some problems. So when somebody has some problems, it doesn't give him a pass to say what he said. But do we come at him the same way we would if it was just a white CEO from Boston or North Dakota or something? It's a difference. And we all know it's a difference. This guy's a pawn. He's being used and manipulated by his friends and closest to him, obviously. And he hang around black people. That's not giving him a pass. He's more closer to black people than Roseanne, but we know he hang around black people. He was drunk, high, and he said some stuff. He
didn't let a word say. He didn't say, "Hey, my nigga." He didn't let that slip out. He said the hard R. Yeah, and
well, if he racist,
it don't matter who you hang out with when you say shit like that.
No, it don't. It don't. But like I said, everybody needs to stop using the word. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't know the cat like that, but it doesn't give him an excuse to that type of language, right? Like Don Imus, like this person, like that person. I mean, we keep having this conversation. We was having this conversation 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. Why are we having the same conversation that we had in the 1800s, 1700s, 1900s, and now in this time period? So that lets me know at some point we got to do something differently, and it start with us three. It can start with whoever. He needs to be reprimanded. Obviously, he was already banned, right, for using illegal substances. The apology wasn't strong at all. I don't know if it's sincere. I don't know him, so I can't say that. I hate when people say it wasn't sincere.
He said that people were hyping him up. He didn't even take full responsibility.
Well, they were. We heard that, but that's not an excuse.
That's not
an excuse.
It doesn't matter It doesn't matter whether they were or not.
Yeah. But I will say this, Javi, if he's high, if he's intoxicated, right? People do things when you're high and intoxicated that's not indicative of their true character or who they are. I
don't agree with the racist part of that though. I'm
not saying it either. I don't know the dude to know if he's a racist or not, right? I don't know.
Do you know what he said though?
No, I know what he said. Yeah.
If you are not a racist person and you don't think those words in your private life, in your private time, in your mind, and then you get drunk, they're not going to come out. If you do think them, when you get drunk, they're going to come out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I had to ask you. I don't know about the drinking and the true serum.
I know you're like a Shirley Temple person, so you can't quite identify with that. But I'm just saying, man,
But not everybody that drinks start talking and telling the truth either, right?
Right. But if those words come out of you, it's because. But the moral of the story is, if those words come out of your mouth, it's because they're in you.
Oh, he out of pocket, as we would say in the hood. He out of pocket for sure. He's out of pocket, and from now on, we need to side eye him. You know what I'm saying? But somebody made him feel comfortable enough to say this, and regardless if he was high or not, he said it.
He made himself feel comfortable enough to say it. I don't care what. Exactly. I don't care who is telling you what. If you're the one who says it, you're the one who's responsible for it.
But hold on. But one thing. But I'm gonna say this too. We're holding people accountable over rap. People are getting attacked. I mean, we've been through this West Coast, East Coast. We see
this wasn't like, that though.
This
wasn't that.
No, but I'm just saying. No, I'm saying a lot of people that's minorities are going to pay for this guy's pay-per-view when he come back A lot of people are going to forget about the same conversation. And that's why I'm kind of tripping that it's going to be crickets too. I believe it's going to be crickets because we allowed so many people to come in our community and gain favor because of their popularity and financial prowess and cachet and do the same thing and like nothing happened. I'm just being honest with you. While we complaining about LeBron and his son, we allowing the rap beef stuff, and then we're going to let this dude come back in the game and be watching and have a fight party and order some Wingstop. I'm talking about Ricky Ross knocked out. And I'm just telling you, somebody has to say enough. Like, where's the black activists? Where's the clergy? Where's our community? Like if this guy offended you, it should be somebody on a national, global scale denouncing this dude right now. And I don't see it. And I don't see who. Urban League, but speed BLM, who? Because nobody respects him and they think he's mentally off, he's high, he's a weirdo, probably, whatever it is, and they're not acknowledging it. And that's another issue I have, because if we keep giving passes to people because of mental illness and addictions to say and do whatever and be reckless, then we're allowing people that's not reckless to say, oh, I could just say I was this. I had a reckless moment. Everybody are disrespecting us. Now, everybody's saying it. Then they say, well, you guys are disrespecting each other. You guys using N-words. You guys are beefing. You guys don't make people atone in your own communities. They don't look. Who cares? So I'm just saying, it's like we talked about off air. Like, we're bleeding from so many different places. Somebody got to step up and stop this guy and denounce him, other than sportscasters or people that are in his pocket. They're going to clean him up like Robert Downey Jr. to be Iron Man. They're going to clean him up to get back in their box. And you know that because there's money involved with him. He can make a lot of people a lot of money. Whenever you can make a lot of people a lot of money, you have Teflon Don skin. Facts. Ask Richard Pitino.
Well, let's have you jump in here, Sean, and wrap up this topic.
Yeah, there's so many layers to all of this. Again, I believe just fundamentally, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. There is nothing that has been proven to make you racist or xenophobic. There is medication. There isn't, drugs. There's no narcotic to make you racist and say racist stuff. And this wasn't what was his name? Was it Riley Cooper, who played for the Philadelphia Eagles, who said the N-word at that concert?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that, and then that was largely the incident. He went deep in his racism. He literally said, "I'm anti-black." He said, "I'm KKK." He said, I want to bring George Floyd back so I could kill him again." Like, there's levels to hate. He broke through the fourth wall of hate, and we can't sit here and blame it on anything else. And whether we believe that alcohol or drugs is the truth serum or not, the man, again, pulled from the depths of his belief system and said it. That was it. And if you turn a blind eye and say, I'm just going to let the first one go, what about the second, third, and fourth that he said? Like, the man flat out came out and said, I'm anti-black. That's not even something at the tip of a drunk person's tongue to say. Like, you don't even form your words that way. I'm anti-black. Who has that at the top of mind for themselves? Like, you may slur something crazy and people glean, it's racist. He flat out, in an unequivocal, categorical way, said it. So he's without excuse, even though he paraphrased, he wasn't making excuses and then went on to make several of them. I have to take him at his word that he is who he said he was in that rant. And he knew he was saying it on a public live platform. It couldn't even be edited. Even the people he said that was hyping him up told him he was going to regret it. Said, you're going to regret it. And he said, nah. He said, nah, I'm not. So how many levels of this am I supposed to give him a pass on, or anybody supposed to give him a pass on? You can't do that. So whatever place he holds within the national discourse right now, we could say he's a star in a diminishing sport that nobody really care that much about. Or we could say there's bigger issues that our leaders care about right now, which is true, that we're focusing and our attention on, all those types of things, and he'd be a distraction, all of that type of stuff. I think he's getting the response that he deserves. The WBC expelled him yesterday, amongst the other sanctions that he has been subjected to. To go back to your earlier question, Daniel, where he's from Victorville, California, and his family is from California. Only his ancestors are from Mexico. He brings a Mexican and American flag into the ring as an homage to his Mexican heritage. He don't even speak Spanish. So we can,
he got a little racism in there.
We can,
you said he from Victorville. You shouldn't have told me that.
We can
told me that. I'm gonna change my whole
eliminate,
thing.
yeah,
With wine, baby.
We can eliminate that sub storyline of it all. He knows exactly what he's saying. He's heard it before. He's said it before. And all he did, now, whatever narcotic he was on or alcohol or substance or whatever, I think made him blow through what everybody would know in their sober mind, that you are on a live platform and shouldn't say this out loud. That made him, as it does, lower his inhibitions and say what he shouldn't have said on a live platform. But regardless, if you say it at the kitchen table, all that did was made you realize that I'm just gonna say it now in front of anybody and stand on it. He is who he said he was. Rehab, yes, that's the perp walk. That's the PR walk. That's the statement he's trying to salvage his career when it's all said and done. They all do those things. That doesn't move me at all. But like I said it when we were chatting about this, I'm not surprised. None of this surprised me about what he said. I didn't even know he was a Trump supporter. And even before Avi mentioned that didn't surprise me at all. The day and age that we live in right now, and people so emboldened to say the quiet parts out loud, people emboldened to say the most racist and xenophobic rhetoric, it lands at his feet. But this is the America that we live in. This is the post 2016, in my opinion. If we're looking for an origin story of discourse where people feel emboldened and have a support system behind them to rally around them. Just like old girl that we talked about the other week, who went on an N-word rant in her video and then said, oh, I'm just going to go. I lost my job. I'm just going to go and be on a conservative network, because now they feel like they have a racist conservative safety net underneath them. This is the post-Trumpian America that people talk about, that it didn't used to be that way. Still existed, but now they're emboldened to say these things out loud, and alcohol and substance just further as fuel to that emboldened flame. So I ain't worried about Garcia. He get what he deserves. Hopefully he get better, but that doesn't let you escape consequence. He getting what he deserved, and I hope he get his mind right and his life right, but he should still face the consequences. Maybe he don't box ever again. I don't know. But I still hope he has a productive life after all of it. Two things can be true at the same time. The consequences, and also get your life right.
Yep. And moral of the story is Ryan Garcia is a bitch. All right. Let's so I know y'all wanted to talk about Bronny real quick before we get out of here. Got a guaranteed deal with the Lakers, 4 years. I think it was 7.9 million, but I'll let you take it away though, Sean or Danny, whichever one y'all want to get into that one first.
Danny, you the basketball aficionado. Where you want to take it? What's your thoughts on Bronny James after the first California Classic against the Sacramento Kings?
He exploded for 4 points.
He had a steal. He had a couple of deflections.
I'm just saying.
He filled up the 9 box sheet.
So I blame a lot of this on everybody's opinion.
You blame what? You blame what on it?
Scrutiny. It's destroying basketball, and I'm not sure if it's getting to other sports such as basketball, but I think everybody's opinion, everybody has, and it's like when you was growing up playing AAU. I grew up in a really prestigious AAU program called the Watts Magicians out of Watts, and it was for inner city kids, and it's probably one of the most influential programs I've ever been in my life. And you don't hear enough about it. Wonder why. It's like today you hear NBA players complaining about AAU. These guys are privileged team and giving kids some shoes. Giving a kid shoes and money and stuff like that doesn't help develop them holistically. A lot of guys use their money and they flaunt it, and it's hurting the game. But I go on to say this because prior to social media, you only knew what you actually experienced and what you actually saw. And people questioned it because they didn't know if they knew you as an individual, could it be valid? I think today is just too many, it's just so much misinformation and there's so much negative information. A lot of people don't have the facts right. And I hate to say this, but it's real. A lot of people, adults, didn't even know what nepotism was. That's just a hot topic. And I'm happy that people are enhancing their vocabulary. But now nepotism is a hot word and a hot topic. And some states have banned nepotism. Some states don't allow it. Some states do. People have been using it for decades, for generations. And I'm not going to say as they should, but people do whatever your prerogative is.
In every industry, nepotism exists. Every single industry.
No question. So this is, I have a friend of mine that's a physician, and he sent out a text to a group that I'm in, and he basically said that, that you hope and pray that you don't have a physician who is your primary physician who got into med school of nepotism and he wasn't qualified, and you're running around here with complications. And that kind of shook me to the core because we've experienced so much, African-American people and a lot of minority people around the world, so many different plights, that we cancel people, we cancel things, we don't look in the mirror. When wrong is wrong, we say it's right because they doing it. So I just don't want to base my on integrity based on they, because something my culture or my race hasn't been afforded the affordability to do, and I see others doing it. Just because other people doing it don't make it right. But at the same time, you got to take care of your son, and you got to make sure he's in the best spot possible if you can. And when he got the $7.9 million guarantee, it lets you know that this is real, right? Because before it's like people don't respect draft picks late in the draft. A lot of them don't make teams. They're two-way. They go overseas. They drift off, and it's just a memory. But this situation, they stamped it and validated. And, you hear the nepotism thing. People are, we having more discord within the African-American community. I got everybody's Dick Vitale. Everybody's Al McGuire, rest his soul. Everybody's an expert. Women, a lot of ladies, guys, fans, casual people, banners. Oh, I'm going to do this for my son. So I think a lot of people are getting misconstrued, and nobody's standing up. And if you stand up, you're a sellout. They're going to call you Republican. You're racist. You're a coon. I mean, you can't even say, it's crazy. You can't even chime in and say, look, he's taking somebody else's spot. Then they say, well, white people do it all the time. These people do it all the time. And then you say, oh, that don't make it right. It's just so many qualms with this Bronny James situation. I think right now it's doing more harm than good because so many people are not versed on the situation of how basketball works. Regardless if he has a guaranteed contract, when LeBron James retires, do you actually think the Lakers are going to keep him if he's not prepared and locked and loaded and should be on that team? Of course not. Of course not. I mean, he only worked out for two teams, Suns and the Lakers, and those are the only two teams LeBron was going to sign with. I'm hearing inside a lot of GMs and a lot of basketball people on executives. This was a joke that he was going to go overseas, that Rich Paul was flexing. My take on it is I'm happy for the kid. I'm happy for his dad. I'm happy for the family. And, when I say that, people get mad at me and say, yeah, but you should be sad for another kid that averaged 20. And now I start getting text messages from guys that went undrafted that averaged 22 points, that averaged 25. But like you said, we see it in corporate America. We see it all over the world. With other races, and people within our culture taking care of their own kids. Let's not forget that nepotism exists in the African American, community as well. I think, hey, until it's a doctor or eye doctor or dentist or somebody where your life is there. I mean, I'm just telling you, what do you do? I mean, I can't accept it. I can't accept nepotism if my life is in danger. So people say, why do you accept it for basketball? I mean, so make it make sense. So I try to stay neutral on it, man, and just say I'm happy for his family. I'm happy for the son, and hopefully it can last. He already had money. So I'm just happy for Brian, and hopefully much continued success for him and his family, man, in the future. But it was some influence involved with this pick and his selection, 100%.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, it's a business for me, and I mentioned this last week. I think it's a deeper conversation that can't really be done justice as we wrapping up this episode around nepotism and if it's being used as some sort of reparations across different industries of our historical slights where nepotism did not work in our favor. That's a deeper, much deeper conversation, in my opinion. That's worth having, I believe. But to isolate LeBron and the influence he clearly asserted and on behalf of his son, who wasn't just taken off the couch, he wasn't just taken off the couch. He was McDonald All-American. He had his resume was growing to where this would make sense. All right. It just got fast tracked, which is part of the issue that people are talking about. All right. But in the grand scheme of how this country and world works around the positioning, we're all jockeying for position. And at the center of it, especially in this country, unfortunately, is money and power and influence. That's what we jockey for. And we hope that when we talk about legacies, for most of us, especially many of us in the Black community, all our family left for us was a good name, hopefully. It wasn't no money. I don't have no money. Ain't no money being left to me. I don't have no estate being bequeathed to me. In my parents' will, they did all they could do. They did as much as they could do with the high school educations that they got. And they pushed 5 kids out there who have done pretty well for themselves from the humble beginnings. When I see somebody who is able to potentially, in the grand scheme of things, position his kid, and Bryce is coming, and his daughter, Zuri, is coming at some point, I have no problem with him using his influence to position his kids within the grand scheme of things. In just basketball salary alone, I saw a stat over his 20 plus years, he earned over $500 million just in salary. I'm not talking about endorsement. How much more did he make for the league and the franchises and those who he signed sponsorship deals with? So there's levels to it. If you position your son to possibly have another leg up in life, do we say in the grand scheme of things, what percentage of a percentage wealth is Bronny going to get versus what his dad has created? And what Bronny is creating as well. Because again, Bronny has been the top of every sports show and every headline, even though there was a kid out of the G League who got 30, who had a phenomenal showing at that first California Classic game. So I think there's levels to it, and that's a deeper conversation around nepotism and what that has meant to the Black community and disenfranchised.
Why couldn't that kid just make his name Bronny James? That's all he had to do. Come on, man.
I don't understand. Or why couldn't he just force the offense and try to go dunk on Bronny so they could be in the same highlight? And by osmosis, he could somehow gain some sort of fame. But I think it's important to zoom out. Like I always try to zoom out, right? Because when you zoom out and zoom out and zoom out, yes, you run the risk of diluting things, but you also get to see connective tissues of how all these things work in an ecosystem. The Rockefellers and Carnegies, and the stat that wealth in this country and the world is in the hands of like less than a dozen families is staggering to me. Staggering. But it also makes me look at the LeBron and Bronny saga within the proper focus and say the James family ain't one of those. The wealth is not relegated to those few. You want to talk about people who move world markets. LeBron and Bronny ain't even moving the NBA markets. So when I keep things in proper perspective, man, and talk about how this world really works and how we all are striving to give ourselves and our kids a better life than what we had and stand on our shoulders, he's doing that. Yeah, we can look at it from the diminishing side of the conversation and say, well, what if Bronny took the 55th pick from another marginalized person of a marginalized background? Yeah, we could have that what if conversation, but I tend to look at it from the vantage point of, and I'm not going to throw shade at other people, but there are other examples of more egregious uses of influence within the NBA of people who probably don't have the track record or potential of a Bronny James, regardless of last name, but those people will remain nameless. I look at it. I look at the nepotism side of the conversation. I look at the positionality of what LeBron can do to forward what Bronny and his family, their lives will be in this ugly, dirty, capitalistic world we live in. And also, I look at what sport really is. It's still entertainment. While we talk about it as a meritocracy, it ain't. It's not. It's not until the whistle blows. Sport is only a meritocracy when the whistle blows. It ain't even a meritocracy of who get on the field when the whistle blows. But when the whistle blows, we go see who could do what. But at the same time, right now, it stands to reason, or I'm hopeful that when Bronny gets his opportunity, he'll continue to grow. I don't know what's gonna happen after LeBron retires. If Bronny don't pan out, again, LeBron is playing chess. He's positioning himself to own a franchise in Las Vegas. Maybe Bronny and Bryce go there if they don't pan out. Stranger things have happened. So it remains to be seen. He seems like a good kid. I wish him well. I hope he continues to grow from a basketball standpoint. I think he still needs to develop to try to figure out what his role is going to be. Nothing changed last night as of this recording when his first quote unquote summer league, but it ain't summer league really yet. It's the California Classic game. He just reiterated what I already thought, that he's a tweener. He doesn't really have he ain't a point guard. He's not an off ball. He's not really a wing player. He's 6'1", and he has a questionable mid-range game. But when the mid-range is hidden, his defense look real good. He's gonna be savvy. He's gonna be smart. But what other redeeming qualities will he have to get in a rotation, even G League in a rotation? So I wish him well. Hopefully at some point down the line we can have that conversation, that socio-political conversation around nepotism and what that means for Black folks, and if it's some sort of reparation conversation that we're having, and what that all means in the grand scheme of things. But I think many people are bastardizing a conversation that's worthy to stand on its own when it comes to Bronny.
Yeah, absolutely. Wish the best for Bronny, man. Seems like a great kid, and he's in a tough situation. I'm sure a lot of people would love to be in that tough situation.
Yeah,
certainly first world problems, but
for sure,
it's not everything that's being said is not fair to him. I mean, he is a good basketball player. It's not his fault. He was LeBron James' son, and he deserves a shot. And I hope he does well. But before we go, I do want to say rest in peace to Kyrie Jackson.
Yes.
The 4th round pick for the Minnesota Vikings in this year's draft, who was a star at Oregon last year, who passed away in a car accident. He was projected to be to at least compete for a starting position at cornerback this coming season, and it's really sad for him and the 2 other kids who were lost in that accident. Just horrible. And rest in peace to Kyrie Jackson. Anything else, fellas, before we get out of here on this 21st episode?
No, I think that's a full show. There's a lot going on right now. I think we either unpacked it or teed ourselves up to follow back up later down the line.
We either unpacked it or put some more stuff in the suitcase.
Probably we replaced what we unpacked. So yeah. We still got
Team USA,
baggage.
man. Team USA versus Canada Wednesday in Vegas.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
New addition this weekend in Vegas, and Jodeci. Vegas is the hot spot in the country, baby.
Oh yeah, Danny gonna catch a 90s R&B concert. You better believe that.
Yeah. You already know he gonna be mint condition.
Yeah, Boys to Men,
all of them. Tony. You already know.
Baby. Silk.
You already know. He sweat.
Oh yeah,
Chucky Booker. Yes.
Chucky.
I'm trying to tell you, boss. You're trying to tell you.
Oh man, that's funny, man. But nah, that's a good time. Regardless,
Drew Hill.
I joke.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Oh yeah. But all right, fellas. Congratulations on episode 21.
Right on.
And have yourself a great week. We will talk to you next week. Peace.
Peace.